Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I just wanted to share with you how I used to track my health. I needed to know, did food affect me in a certain way? What type of foods did? How about my activities? How could I rate my fibromyalgia? Because I had so many questions and no answers from doctors. And at that time, I was in my maybe late 30s, early 40s, maybe. Since I don't have a timeline of any of this, I really don't remember that much. But what I used was, a typical journal book or what are those composition books that you get your kids for elementary school so they could do their writing projects in them. So I had one for myself. And what I did is I tracked these different things, and I'll show you. I put it together real quickly this year in the notes function on my iPhone. I'm sure you could do the same in the notes function on your, I forget what we called phones that are not iPhones. Here's me being real, okay? So using the chart and deciding how many columns you want. I had, I want to keep track of the date, the time, my weight at that time, how I feel, what I ate, what I did. So that would be activity, food activity, however you want to label these is up to you. And then a rating. So this was shortly after spending the holidays not eating carnivore. So I was partially eating carnivore, which is just meat and fat. But I was also eating fun food, as I call it now, holiday food, which did include sugar, fruits, vegetables, grains, mostly gluten-free kind of items, because my husband sticks to a gluten-free diet. And I gained a lot of weight, inflammation, tired, achy. My fibromyalgia symptoms started coming back. So here you can see on the 5th, I did weigh myself and found I was 162 pounds. How I felt, it was pretty much tired and achy and inflamed. I felt fat. I did not write down anything that I ate. I wrote down that I worked a short shift. That's a short shift. I'm a part-time employee, but with the industry I work in, I can actually pick up other people's hours and work more hours, and I could also trade my shift off so I can have more days off in a row instead of just working 5 days on, 2 days off. I could make it almost anything I want. So I have a really good shift this year that a lot of people are happy to work, which is really nice. And then I rated my day as an 8, which is kind of high, actually. Now you're thinking, so does that mean your pain level? So you can decide if you want to go high is bad and low is good, or you could say low is bad and high is good. I tend to go 10 out of 10. Remember back in the 70s and 80s, rating things a 10 meant it was really great. So that's how I did my rating scale, because I am a girl of the 80s. Yes, I am. 70s and 80s. So here's my wellness rate. I just want to go over real quick. So 10 is feeling on top of the world, no pain, no fatigue, met every goal, no repercussions. I would say a lot of times my disorganization does get in the way of meeting goals, but that's not fibromyalgia. That would be, things like ADHD, ADD. Look, I am an undiagnosed anything except for fibromyalgia. It's the only diagnosis I have been able to achieve. And that took like 10 years of testing with doctors and pleading for them to find what is wrong with me. And that's why I created a health journal, so I could take it to the doctor and go, look, these are my symptoms. This is how I feel. I'm tracking day to day. I'm trying to do this stuff. I eat pretty good food. And they could see all that information. So I think it's really important for you to see all the information about yourself. All right, 9. Woke up cheerful, ready to go, did lots of things, went everywhere, spent time with people, ended day exhausted but happy and accomplished. So I guess, this second entry on the 8th was a weekend with family members. We're celebrating a birthday. So I was well rested. I wasn't working, and I actually did feel really good. I had already been eating carnivore for about maybe 5 days. I did not have a scale to weigh myself, but my clothes were fitting better, so I knew I was dropping in weight. Let's see. Now it's January 20th, and a couple of days ago, I did weigh myself at about 155, fluctuating to 157. So, so the weight is dropping off. And the more it drops off, the better I feel because of being in ketosis. So, and today I would rate my day as maybe a 9.5. I mean, I didn't even think about halvesies, but on top of the world, no pain, no fatigue, met every goal. Well, I still have a little bit of pain in my neck, and although I have energy, I don't feel like I really want to do a lot of stuff. So I don't know what that is. 8, woke up with more energy than usual and less pain than usual. Decided to do lots of things. End of day exhausted, but not too much pain. 7, woke up ready to do things, but tired and achy. Did things for about 2/3 of the day. Ended day exhausted. There was a time where I never saw 7, 8s, or 9s, and definitely not 10s. I don't think I've ever had a real 10 in my life, except for maybe 4 weeks or so after I started the carnivore diet, and I hit real fat burning mode for the first time. I was literally bouncing off the walls. I was running up and down stairs. Like 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and not feeling exhausted and like, I'm on top of the world. This is a 10. I've never felt this way before. And I've never felt that way since because the body regulates your ketosis and then switches to glucose. I'm like, what? Why? I'm not eating sugar. I don't want sugar burning mode. Okay. I want fat burning mode. Let's stay in fat burning mode because I could do a lot that way. All right. 6, woke up wanting to do things, did things for half a day, lots of pain and fatigue for the other half. So what I'm trying to do here is just kind of break up the day. So half a day could be 1 hour we're doing stuff like self-care, but then we feel tired, so that the next couple of hours we're resting. And then for a couple of hours we get up and do stuff like errands or taking care of the kids or doing something to clean up the house, but then we feel tired again. So we sit back down and rest. It doesn't mean that for 8 hours I did a bunch of stuff and now for the next 8 hours I feel lousy. Yeah, I mean, I did have those kind of days too. 5, showered, dressed, basic chores, lots of pain and fatigue when done. So there would be you're dragging your feet to get through your day. You're moving really slow. You're doing the basics. You're just getting by. And there's just no energy to keep going. All right. 4, did a few chores but ended up in bed for pain and fatigue. I had a lot of days like that. I'd get up in the morning. I feel like my whole body was an anvil. I'm trying to do stuff. I'm trying to take good care of myself and getting nowhere with it. And of course, my then spouse just did not understand what I was going through and thought a lot of times that I was faking it and that I could do better if I did the right stuff to make myself better. And I was so lost, when you feel like this and you see your friends, they're in their 30s and 40s and they're not feeling like this. Why do I feel like this? What am I doing wrong? You start going down the path of thinking that you're doing something wrong and that you could do something about it. But why can't you find any answers? You go to the doctor and there are no answers. Your blood tests come back great. It actually took a friend to tell me that she thought maybe I had fibromyalgia to take this book. And she has, I can't remember what it's called. Great, I can't remember. I'm having brain darkness right now. I cannot remember things right now. I would like this ketosis thing to start working again. But she has, it starts with the letter M. I'm like almost there to remember what it is. But it's a thing that it's a brain disorder that causes things like memory loss. Sometimes I feel like I have the same issue. But I think it's MS. Yeah. So she gave me this book because at first she thought she had fibromyalgia. Then when she got the diagnosis of MS, she still had this book and she said, you sound like you have fibromyalgia. I read this book. Maybe you haven't. And the book is What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Fibromyalgia. It's Dr. Saint Amman and his, I believe she's a nurse or something else in the health-related field, Claudia Merrick. And together they wrote this book, but it's based on his findings as a doctor treating people with gout. And at the time, back then, gout medication was uricosoic, meaning that it helps the kidneys to eliminate uric acid through the kidneys. But then patients were coming back to him with other things like, doctor, I had pain in other parts of my body and now they're gone. Oh, that's really interesting. And why I have tartar on my teeth, and why is this just coming off? I mean, it's just falling off. And so with further study, he recognized that uricosolic medication, which was actually helping gout patients, is no longer being used to treat them probably because of its harsh value, and that would be something interesting to go into in depth. But that guaifenesin is a safer version of a uricosolic drug that actually does the same thing. And I can't remember how he discovered that. I'll have to reread his book. But when I did research on guaifenesin, it's been used for animals like horses, to relieve them of leg cramping, leg pain, and other things, basically because they were working horses. And there was a period of time, like during the 1880s, when it was really fashionable to help ailing people to get better. They would go to, are they called solariums? Or I have to look that up again too. My memory is fabulous, isn't it? And guaifenesin was used for a short period of time to help relieve patients of their pain, and it did seem to work, but they didn't understand the dynamics behind it. What I have found is that sticking with the guaifenesin protocol, the way it's written out now, consistently on a daily basis, helped my kidneys get rid of those oxalates that were causing the issues. So, wow, I just went off on a tangent, and I'm still going over rating scale. 4, did a few chores but ended up in bed for pain and fatigue. 3, mostly slept, rested, lots of pain, and never feeling enough energy to get up except to brush my teeth, maybe take a shower, use the restroom, and eat. 2, too ill to get out of bed. I don't know that I've ever had a day like that where I just slept for 24 hours, but I have had days where I'd get up, do the basics, feel really tired and dizzy, and then go back to bed. And migraines would come and go. I would say that headaches and migraines would also be something to consider in this rating scale. So if you tend to get that a lot, try to figure out on your rating scale about headaches and migraines. I know that I had a lot of them. I would take Aleve and Benadryl. That was my go-to for the really bad headaches or migraines, whatever they were. I don't have them anymore, so I'm losing a lot of that memory base on what would trigger them and why would I get them, and did I figure out anything other than Benadryl and Aleve. And then 1, hospitalized or dead. So the whole point of this scale is for me to really rate my day, to really understand how I'm feeling, get really personal about that. And it's a journal, so I could really take some time to write out things that I'm thinking. That could also be part of your scale, your wellness scale. How is your mood? How is your mental thinking going? I've forgotten that. Super negative thoughts can be a part of fibromyalgia, not because you need serotonin and you're depressed, but because you're constantly feeling tired, and constantly feeling pain, and that affects our emotions. These things affect our emotions, but also our emotions affect these things. And also, it's like a constant cycle that never stops. Also, the fact that thought just left my head and now I can't retrieve it. I want to be better at this, which is why I consider this time in my YouTube journey to be just practicing and getting some of these things out. Yeah, it's not coming back. So I would say, let's see, how I feel, what I ate, what I did, rating. You could add another thing on here. I'm going to just add, nope. Is that how I do it? Let's see. I got to remember how to do this. Oops, nope. I'm going to add, I think it's here. Nope. Is it here? Nope. I know it's somewhere to add a column. Why won't it? Here we go. Add a column. There we go. That's my daily. So what I did, and how about what I'm thinking? And this would be, whoops, why did it do that? Explain to me why I can't use my iPhone. Oh yeah, because it's very challenging. It's the most difficult piece of equipment to use, I think. I grew up with Android. Now I remember what that is. I grew up with Microsoft and then later for phone devices, Android. And then I met my now husband, and he believes in the whole Apple everything. So he spent the majority of his life using Apple products. So he got me an iPhone and said, "You're not going to ever use that other thing again." We'll see. Maybe when I'm like 92 and he's passed away, I'll change. What I'm thinking is crucial in your journals. So you can make this, a bigger area if you're using notes, or if you're using a composition notebook and you're creating these spaces in your composition notebook. Use the other page. For journaling, I think it's really important to write down what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, what your feelings are about the day, and get that out onto paper or onto notes, and discover yourself in that way, because this is how you're taking action over your life with fibromyalgia. This is how you're taking action. Now, I want to go through the rating scale again, but start with the bottom and work the way up to the top, and see if you can see the progression of health and what your goals are. And your rating scale can have other things in it besides what I wrote. This is just an example. 1 hospitalized dead. The reason I put 1 hospitalized or dead and 10 feeling on top of the world is because I don't want to rate every day a 1 when I just don't feel good. I want to be like, okay, my life is not a 1, and my life is not a 10. Okay, so let's go in between those two numbers and just knock those out right now. So, 2, too ill to get out of bed. This could also be feeling a lot of negative thinking, a lot of negative emotions. 3, mostly slept, rested, lots of pain. 4, did a few chores but ended up in bed for pain and fatigue. This would also be really good to find out, are you having headaches as well during these times? And what your thinking patterns are. 5, showered, dressed, basic chores, lots of pain and fatigue when done. How much time are you resting? 6, woke up wanting to do things. Okay, so that is like a little bit of extra. That's more positive thinking than negative thinking, because you get up and you're like, oh, I got these things to do. I want to get the laundry done. I need to get the dishes done. I'd really like to clean out the refrigerator, but I'm not sure I could really do that. I know the bathroom needs to be clean. This is this was my life. Did things for half a day, lots of pain and fatigue for other half. 7, woke up ready to do but tired and achy. Did things for about 2/3 of the day, ended up day exhausted. So a 7, you might still feel some stiffness or achiness, but you have a little bit more energy. So you get up and you're ready to, you go make coffee, you make some breakfast, you get your kids ready for school, you sit down and rest for a little while, you take care of yourself, you do several chores, you go maybe take some, do an errand or two, like plan out your day. 8, woke up with more energy than usual and less pain than usual, decided to do lots of things, end a day exhausted but not too much pain. This is going to be the times when you have the energy and you know that you want to take advantage of this energy and this less painful day and get a lot of things done, because it's coming. Another flare is going to come and take you down. Number 9, woke up cheerful, ready to go, did lots of things, went everywhere, spent time with people, ended day exhausted but happy and accomplished. I would say that being social is a really good indicator that your fibromyalgia is just not getting you down. And that's a really good thing. These are your really good days. And when you give a list to your doctor, and the majority of the month is between 2 and 5, and then you have a 7 here, an 8 there, or a 9 there, that's going to be basically 3 good days in a month's period of time. So whatever it is that you're doing is not working. And then you continue on with that journaling as you do what the doctor prescribes for you. And if you're not getting improvement, if you're not getting 6 to 10 good days, 7, 8, 9s in that month, then you're not getting improvement. And this is a record that you're keeping to make sure that you know whether or not you're getting benefit out of what the doctor's doing for you. Let me just say, most of my days are 8, 9, and a sprinkled 10 here and there. And I started getting better when I started the guaifenesin protocol correctly. I'm really cheap. Okay, I don't like spending a lot of money. So in my mind, and plus I was married to someone who I felt like I didn't have control over the finances. So doing something crazy like taking guaifenesin for fibromyalgia made zero sense to this person. And so I try to do it the cheap way with fast acting. And that doesn't work. Because fast acting only works for, 2 to 4 hours, and then you got to take another one. And then you forget. And then you're sleeping through the night, so you're not taking any during that time. And then there's no discussion about plants with oxalates in them. So it's really important to have the time release. The time release tablets without the blue dye, they discovered that the blue dye can block the medicine from working as a uricosolic. The blue dye doesn't block Mucinex from working as far as relieving mucus from the lungs, but we're not talking about doing that. We have fibromyalgia. Of course, we probably have fluid in our lungs. I know I always did because of the postnasal drip. But the guaifenesin worked best as time release. And I did have a colleague finally tell me, just bite the bullet. Here, I'll buy you a bottle. It's got no food dye in it. It's their time released, extended released. Take one twice a day and you're going to get relief. And it happened. Within a month, the majority of my pain and fatigue was gone, just some joint stuff. And I was starting to live again, and I was starting to exercise. I was starting to ride a bike. I was hiking. I was doing all kinds of really cool things. And then even though I went through a really traumatic experience, losing the marriage, it did not affect me with the flares because that guaifenesin was helping my kidneys get rid of the toxins that were being left all over my body. So great. I absolutely recommend it, along with a low oxalate diet. And also just beware that as you're using the guaifenesin on the protocol, you need to avoid everything that has salicylic acid in it. And that also includes consuming large amounts of vegetables because they're very high in salicylic acid. Also, you want to avoid anything with mint or camphor, as well as all teas, both herbal and regular tea. They're very high in salicylic acid. So I want to wrap this up and wish you well. And I hope that this video finds you in a better state of mind. Take action, start a health journal, and find the answers to the questions that you have regarding your health. Have a great rest of your day, and see you next time. Bye.